Welcome back, financial investors. My name is Brent, and today we're going to be doing our stock market weekly recap for July 22nd through the 26th, 2019. We're going to start off the video by taking a look at last week's changes for the week. Jumping into this week, we're going to look at the four main indexes, whether they went up or down, by how much, and year to date. Then we're going to be jumping over, look at the entire S&P 500 movement for the week. What sectors were strong, what sectors were weak, what stocks went up this week on earnings, what stocks went down this week on earnings, and then we're going to be jumping over, taking a look at financials, semiconductors, and home builders. From there, we're going to jump over and take a look at oil, the dollar, silver, gold, and mortgage rates. I saw mortgage rates did fall here a little bit going into the week here. So we're going to be covering all of that information here, and then we're going to be jumping over into Facebook to cover what posts and information was shared here on Facebook. So if you are brand new to the channel, interested in stock market, dividends, or real estate, I cover it all here on the channel, so definitely hit that subscribe button below. If you do enjoy this video, find it helpful, hit the thumbs up. And if you have any comments or questions, would like to share some information over this week, drop it into the comment section. I know next week is a big one that everyone is waiting for, with the Fed coming out, whether rates will remain the same or if they are going to be cutting rates. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. I'm going to go ahead and flip my screen around here. So quick changes here. Stock market last week, we had the S&P 500 falling 1.23% last week. The Dow Jones down 0.65, the NASDAQ down 1.18, and my portfolio fell 1.08 for 15 through 19 July 2019. So I saw a few posts over here that they also shared their information, a few falling slower than the rest of the market. Now we jump into this week's changes for the S&P, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and the Russell. So S&P 500 this week climbed day after day with a bit of a cool-off period here on Thursday. And this was due to, I believe, overseas, the European banks decided not to perform a rate cut, and some data came out as far as how our economy has gone, how our job reports, and it actually came in stronger than expected, and Europe had not cut their rates, and because of that, it gave the mentality that maybe next week, because our jobs came in, our economy numbers came in strong, that we may not do a rate cut next week. And when the market had that hit, that took it down for the day. But we shall see what plays out next week. I'm actually not 100% sure that we will be getting a rate cut next week. I think the Fed may postpone putting it out until August, just because we are trading. We close on Friday at all-time highs. And right now, what would be the reason for a rate cut right now? That would show weakness in the market, weakness in the economy. And right now, with our reports, the way that they are not currently showing it. So I do believe maybe the Fed will postpone it, but we will find out on Wednesday what will happen. So year to date, the S&P is up 20.7%. Very nice there. This is in second place right now. The Dow Jones for the week, basically flat. Boeing really hurt this, the index here. The Dow Jones, there's only 30 companies here. So when one does not perform with the others, or there's a mixture of them, or they don't perform really well, this basically killed all their gains, basically ending the week up 0.14. We can see here down here, Triple M, some change here on Friday, down 2.33. We also have Caterpillar, Chevron, the Dow Chemical, Intel down here on Friday as well. Going into the next page here, we can see here, not too much more on the second page, but many companies here, Boeing, for example, they really dropped down this week, and that really hurt that Dow Jones. Year to date, this one is in third place right now, up at 16.57%. NASDAQ here is in first place and blew ahead of everyone this week. The NASDAQ climbed 2.26% higher. Now this close again, the S&P right here, it came up on the main screen here. If we go back to our market page, markets actually have this S&P and the NASDAQ closing at some all-time highs this week. So here, year to date, the NASDAQ is up 25.54%. Basically the same scare here taking place on Thursday, 1% loss there, but recovered all of that plus then some here on Friday. And the Russell right here actually falling right. Oh, the Russell actually overtook the Dow Jones. So the Russell's actually in third place. The Russell looks like it just overtook the Dow Jones, up 2.01% this week. bringing their year to date now up to 17.09. So Nasdaq's currently in the winner, followed right behind by the S&P 500, then the Russell 2000, and in last place the Dow Jones up at 16.57. So really any of the indexes you would be doing fairly well right now 7 months into 2019. Now jumping into here, we're taking a look here at stock futures. Now stock futures can change throughout the weekend. Next week we have trade talk between the US and China. We have the Fed coming out on Wednesday. So there is a whole lot of uncertainty right now in the markets, and I do not, I don't, it's unpredictable as to what will happen. So that is why the market, with that unpredictability and that uncertainty, that may kind of cause the market to basically remain flat until we find out some news either between the US and China, or we had the Fed come out and declare on Wednesday whether we will go higher or lower with our rates. So that'll play a big part here. Now, S&P 500 as a whole here for the week. Now, this is just Friday. Amazon losing 1.5%, Triple M going down 2.33. No sector was strong or weak. We had a very strong overall market this week. Financials moving higher, Wells Fargo up 2.52. I'm going to go ahead and flip it to the 1 week here. Now, looking at the 1 week, if you look at it as a whole, now we may have a few weaknesses over here in services, with Amazon down 1.09, Walmart down 0.77, Target, Costco, Dollar General, and so maybe some of those services were hit just a little bit this week. So that could be a sector there to kind of look for. Also over in the basic materials area, oil also took a bit of a hit this week. Boeing down 8.57% this week. I saw a few airliners deciding to ground Boeing airliners all the way to the end of the year. Boeing also came out making a statement that they had initially said they were considering cutting production, and now they've sort of made it clear that they may cut production here fairly soon, and that is what kind of hurt the company, and it also hurt that Dow Jones. United Health down 1.45. Now, looking over in the communications, we have Cisco taking a break here from their all-time highs. They were trading very high here. If you watch my Friday video of me kind of going through my portfolio, I saw that Cisco was having a little bit of resistance in this area, and I actually decided to take some profits and roll it into some of my lesser companies here that haven't performed as well as Cisco, Apple, Kimberly-Clark, Coca-Cola, or what was my other one? It was Medtronic. Medtronic also up this week 1.74. So I took profits on quite a bit this week and moved it into some of my less performing companies. Ford came out and guided lower, lowering their guidance into the future. Year after year, this is pretty normal for Ford. They're down 6.18% on the year. PayPal down 2.65. Citrix down 5.55. But overall, look at the financials and look at Google over here in the semiconductors. So Wells Fargo up 7.10%, JP Morgan up 2.36%, Bank of America up 4.66%, very strong in the financials. This is one of the strongest weeks here for the financials this week. Google also coming out crushing earnings, up 10% here on Friday. Very nice. Facebook right behind it here, up 0.7%. Twitter up 12.94. Microsoft up 3.46. That was a very good week. Earnings this season here, and earnings is actually doing really well. I'm kind of excited to see how the rest of this kind of plays out. Google, I posted a little bit about that over on Facebook. We'll cover that here in just a few minutes. Now, semiconductors, as we said, the Nasdaq was ahead over 2% this week, and that took place, that was mainly due to the semiconductors up in here, up 2.68%. Semiconductors overall did very strong. Whoop, that was financials. So financials, we already said financials are very strong. So financials up 2.68. Semiconductors, that makes much more sense. That's why the Nasdaq was so high. Up 4.92% this week. Home builders actually coming down. So even though our rates may be steadily decreasing, maybe some of our companies here within the holdings, Home Depot, Lowe's, Williams-Sonoma, Whirlpool, didn't perform as well. And we can see here, bit of a sell-off here on Friday and early in the week, down 0.74 overall. Now, energy basically stayed flat this week. There was a big spike on Wednesday due to conflict over in Iran, and then that all sold off. There was a big quick gain in the morning and a big sell-off, actually going down pretty heavy here on Wednesday. And we can see that movement here on this graph. So Monday, Tuesday, pretty much really nice, a huge gap up on Wednesday, and then basically sold everything that had made on Monday and Tuesday, actually going down into the negative 1.86. Now it took Thursday and Friday to recover from that, basically ending up flat for the week, down 0.17. And if you want to go ahead and pause this video, you can read through everything that took place Monday through Friday, with Wednesday being the main highlight, where oil was pushed higher just due to tensions with Iran. Now jumping over into the dollar got stronger this week, so markets at all-time highs. The Fed's supposed to come out next week and cut rates, but the dollar continues to chug higher. So it went from closing last week at 97.15, 97.16 to now 97.98. We are getting a much stronger dollar right now. So depending on how this all plays out next week, maybe the dollar is giving us a little bit of an indicator that it's not going to be weakening here, and the Fed may leave rates alone. We shall see how this kind of plays out. I'm not going to make any predictions here. I don't know what to think here. I'm 50-50 split in the middle between they could cut rates and they won't cut rates just due to economic news. And overseas, they haven't done it as well. Silver was the only positive of the two materials here that I'm tracking. Silver up basically almost 1%, 0.92% on the week, whereas gold not performing as well, down 0.62%. Gold was a little bit extended here. Year to date, we can see gold trading at some near all-time highs for the year, whereas silver, silver obviously over the last month, it just shot up a crazy amount now, but silver hadn't been performing very well, and just recently below that $14 point, as I covered here on the markets every week, I think that was a good opportunity, and just material silver has shot up higher into the sky, trading now at 15.31. Year to date, putting it into the positive here at 5.44. Gold, again, we already saw that. And bonds. Bonds this week basically staying flat on the week. 5-day change up 0.01%. And mortgage rates. Mortgage rates actually came down this week by 12 basis points. I made an offer. If you guys aren't following me over on Instagram, I made an offer on a property over on Wednesday. Wednesday, I was checking out my emails. I had an MLS listing come through. It was listed for $55,000. I said, took a look at the property, took a look at what needed to be done, and the square footage of the home was over 1,000 square feet with some areas that I could possibly attach, make a third bedroom, turning this into a 3-bedroom, 1-bath for $5,500. It would still need quite a bit, so I made an offer on it. Quickly took it, sent it to my realtor, made my offer, put my earnest money, 30-day close, 15 days to do my inspection, and I went ahead and made my offer. Now, I checked in with my realtor, and he updated an offer. He hadn't made any sort of changes on Wednesday, so I went to sleep, and then on Thursday, came back and said, hey buddy, the seller went with a different offer. So we actually had a bit of an exchange there, whether we could raise our offer or keep it the same. And based on my numbers, I did not want to be raising my offer just to compete with somebody else. It actually would have made sense to have raised it, but there's just so much opportunity out there. I'm also trying to work on a duplex right now. So duplex deal, trying to make another offer on a duplex. So this was only a single family home. I would like to continue buying a few multifamily or single family if I can land them in there. I'll throw out an offer and see if it's accepted, but if it's not, that's not the end of the world. It happens just all the time. Now jumping into what stocks are posted this week, or what information was posted over this week. M1 Finance, there's 4 ways to sell, and I covered every single one of them here in this video. So if you use the M1 Finance platform, you're looking for options of doing and performing sells, check out this video. I think it'll be very beneficial for you. I see a lot of investors doing the wrong method as far as selling. They're trying to sell out of a stock, and they'll click on it in the portfolio, try and sell it, but it'll still remain there in the position, in the stock, in the portfolio, having not been sold. So I covered 4 different ways of actually getting it through. I did my live video last week. I'll probably do this one. Actually, I won't be able to do this one premiering. I'll actually be driving out to go check out properties here on Saturday, as this one is out and premiering. Kickoff. So we had 650 companies kicking off. Now, some of the main highlights that I was looking forward to this week were Avery Dennison, Coca-Cola, Kimberly-Clark. Coca-Cola and Kimberly-Clark coming out and knocking it out, shooting to all-time highs. I took profits on both. Coca-Cola actually sold out of this position. Kimberly-Clark, I took profits on. Lockheed Martin, this one continuing to chug higher. AT&T, Las Vegas Sands Corp. This one didn't perform as well as some of my other holdings. Caterpillar sold off here on Friday. We saw VF Corp. I haven't checked in on this one. PayPal Holdings, I believe they are down actually a bit on the week, but that's fine. Thursday, 3M, Amazon, Alphabet, Intel, Raytheon, Valero, Juniper, AbbVie on Friday. AbbVie came out, beat their earnings, beat their revenue, guided higher, but they only shot up 2%. I was expecting a little bit more of a kick, and we'll see how this one kind of plays out. I think this one needs to marinate just a little bit inside of the investors' minds and outside on the institutional investors to see maybe they're going through the numbers, going through the earnings report, and taking a look at this a little bit deeper, and then we may see AbbVie jump higher next week now that everyone had time to marinate over the weekend, read through that report, and see, okay, they guided higher. Why did they guide higher? Is that looking positive? Can they make this happen? And I believe into the future, we'll see AbbVie sort of trade within this range and then move higher. I think it's in a double bottom right now as far as creating showing some support here in that 67 to $68 point from what I had seen. I came out on my Monday, made some buys. I have continued to buy into Tanger Factory Outlets, made my 115.38 purchase. Last week I had 3 companies paying out dividends: Cardinal Health, Main Street Capital, and WP Carey, paying a total of $13.46. I was able to reinvest that last week, I believe, into Tanger Factory Outlets is why I believe is what I had done. Now, we had an investor out there coming out saying, hey, we're getting close to a peaking point with the next major correction coming right around the corner. With so many newer investors in the market, I think they're going to be, they're both nervous and excited, but they're going to have a rude awakening. And my whole thought on this is, if you're a brand new investor and you're investing for the long term, you may not have tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in the market. You may only have 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000. Now, if you're taking a 30% cut on 15,000, it's going to hurt, but you have so much time to recover, and it's so easy to just overcome that loss by being able to dollar cost average. If you invested $15,000 in 2019, can you make another $15,000 next year? If we went into recession next year, could you up your contributions? Could you put more money in and say dwarf that $15,000? So over the next year, if we did go into recession, by adding more, you'd actually lower your unit cost, you'd lower your loss percentages, you'd increase your starting yields, you'd increase your overall portfolio shares. And when the market does recover, because you took advantage of that dip early on in your investing cycle, you'll be much better off here into the future. So that was just my whole little take there on that. And so here's my little offer here. I kind of went through, I saw the email come out on Wednesday here, listed for $55,000. Came out at $124. I read through the email, looked at it, and forwarded it to my realtor saying, hey, I want to make an offer on this. So I went ahead and posted that over to him, and I made updates on it. I signed my contract right away. He sent it over, I signed it, and it was over. I checked out the property taxes and such, about $1,600 in property taxes on this one, but it doesn't matter because I did not get that offer unless it falls through. I've seen other offers fall through in the past, and that just gives me some opportunity. So I made a video on possibly Wednesday. Now there's a way for you guys to go out there and get $75 right now. $50 if you sign up for SoFi through my referral link. I have a link down in the description below. If you sign up for this, I already covered it in my video. It's basically a checking savings account hybrid where you make 2.25% on your cash that you are able to use with a credit card. I have a credit card right here. I use it for my business. For YouTube. So some of the funds that I receive from YouTube, I don't want them just sitting in my bank account. Obviously, I don't want them. I have to have them sitting there and separated from my other personal funds. But I was using Chase, and Chase, you make like 0.01, 0.04 on my cash that I'm just kind of sitting there. So instead, what I did is I used SoFi as now my sort of business account. So any affiliates, YouTube income, website income or however so that I make some income from, I move it into SoFi and it makes 2.25%. I can still use it using it on my Cash App on my phone. I have a debit card access I can run it through, pay for items online and such. And I was able to make $50 just by signing up for the platform using another person's referral. And then I found out you can actually make an additional $25 by clicking on the promo here that they have. If you click on the promo here, you actually get $25 of StockBit, basically for just signing up there, and you make an account and you add $1, they'll give you $25. So it's basically $75 for getting started on this platform. So I thought that was a big win out there. I decided to share it. Robinhood had some unintentional stored data, basically making it readable in plain text. So not good for them. Now I was going through a few growth companies here. I started another portfolio on my own M1 Finance account. Now primarily I cover my wife's M1 Finance account here, but I created my own M1 Finance account and I went ahead and created a growth account within a taxable account. These are just growth-based companies. I chose 10 of them and they don't make any dividends, but I just went ahead, added a very small amount just to kind of show the performance on these for myself. I think it would be kind of a fun idea. So these were a few that I was taking a look at. I only added 2 of these into my portfolio. I added IRMD and Beat here, and that I believe was bought up on Friday. Now, here, I just kind of posting. I thought this was a funny looking little mohawky pie. It looks like he has a beard and a mohawk going on here. So I will actually explain that here in an upcoming video. And I've had a very busy week this week. So I decided to kind of show here what I had done this week. Now on Monday, I added equity into the markets by 115.38. Wednesday, I had Cisco paying out a dividend of $3 or $4.43. Wednesday, I decided to take profits on positions. I took profits on Apple, Cisco, and I was supposed to sell off partial of Kimberly-Clark, but it actually went through as a buy. And Thursday, I removed 2 companies from my portfolio. I removed Coca-Cola and Medtronic, selling completely out of those positions and rolling over those investments, that equity and dividends, into a couple others. So that'll all be covered here on Monday's video. And this is my whole video kind of going over how I came up to the decision to make a sell within my portfolio. I don't see a lot of selling over thoughts being covered here on YouTube. So if you have anybody who you believe, if you have thoughts on when to sell in your portfolio, when to take a profit, check out my video. If you think somebody else out there is maybe in the same state of mind where they want to take a little bit of profits, have them take a look at my video and check it out. I think the whole mentality here on YouTube is that you're a long-term investor, and that just means buy and hold regardless if the market chugs higher or lower. But sometimes you have to look at the market and decide, is there resistance? Is the stock overextended? Can you move those funds somewhere else? And by moving so, it'll be able to take advantage of maybe a dip on some other companies, lowering your unit costs, increasing your yield on costs on different positions, and also increasing your dividends. My dividends from June into July, just by doing the movements here that I did this week, I've increased my dividends by about $25 by moving funds around within the portfolio, selling from positions and moving into others. Overall, I'll be covering that here in our monthly recap, but just a lot of movement here. Now, Google shot up here on earnings. So earnings came out, blasted through their earnings, blasted through their revenue. I actually have a small position over on Google, over on my Merrill Edge account. I have 4 shares of Google that I purchased. Now these are up on the day 10.46%, bringing me up to a total return of 19.83% on these positions. So I put in a little over 4,000 into these, and they are now worth about 5,000 bucks over on Google. Google's probably one of my largest single holdings, and yeah, here are their earnings. I kind of took a picture of their earnings per share estimates and growth year over year. So kind of a really good idea there. I held Google on, I think I hold it in 2 portfolios. And I believe that is basically all I posted this week. with the changes for this week. So, stock market weekly change this week, July 22nd, we came out of a negative week. We went into a positive week this week. The S&P climbing 1.65%, the Dow Jones basically staying flat at 0.14%, the Nasdaq here the winner this week up 2.26, and my portfolio up 2.02% this week, getting a lot of help from Google and a few others out there. But it was overall a very good day in the market. So that is basically all I wanted to cover in today's video. If you guys aren't following me over on Instagram, definitely click on the link in the description below. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Instagram. I'm at 117 followers. I try and share a lot of the information here that I'm going, that I take part in or try and do and have fun with. I'd like to make it a little bit more personal over on my Instagram. So watch for just little posts that are fun and entertaining. And that is basically it for today's video. So that is going to be it for today's video. Again, thank you all here for tuning into the channel. If you did like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button below. I cover the stock market, dividends, and real estate. And if you have any comments or questions, would like to let me know how your stock performance has done this week, do so in the comment section. And let me know next week, what do you think the Fed will do? Do you think they will raise rates? Do you think they will keep rates the same? Do you think the market will go higher or lower? Let me know right now in the comment section below. And that is it. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.